And here we go again. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is a whole new week, actually the second week of the Reply Investment Challenge. And we are live. It's 5 o'clock p.m. Central European Solar Time. We are live on YouTube and actually on challenges.reply.com too. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I'm Enrico, as you may know. So give me a second to rename myself because it's always important to do the proper thing. Here we go. Part of the Reply team, Reply Challenges team, actually. We are here, as always, in this particular situation of home working. So my bad if any of my kids will raise his hands during this live streaming. I'm sorry, of course, but no problem at all. Because this live streaming is worthy for the players and the passionate about finance, and most of all the players that are actually playing on the Reply Investment Challenge. We are holding together with Banca Generali and the Politecnico di Milano. But as always, I'm not alone. I'm together with the rest of the Reply Challenges team. So let me welcome Mr. Davide Cagnatti.
Hello.
Ciao, Davide. Hi there, welcome back. And part of the Reply Titanium team, the team of, again, passionate about finance, who are helping us in realizing this challenge. Today we have Eleonora Simonini. Ciao, Eleonora.
Hello, everybody.
Hi there. What's up? Everything fine?
Yeah. Hope that the challenge is going well, I think. And welcome to this webinar. Sorry.
It's working quite well. Numbers are very good. We have a lot of players actually having fun all together. And but let me finish the loop of presentation. So again with us, Mr. Matteo Fatale from Starting Finance. Ciao, Matteo.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Hi there. We are more than happy of having you back for this third webinar. And let me present you a special guest, a very special guest for today. Connected with us, Miss Maria Grazia Dossena, responsible of market strategy at Banca Generali. Ciao, Maria Grazia. Can you hear us? Yes, you are still on mute. If you want to unmute the mic, we can see you.
Hello, everybody. I'm very happy to be here today and to meet you in this extraordinary experience.
Thank you very much. We are more than happy of having you here today with us. May I ask you, where are you connecting from? You are in Milan, or?
Yes. I live in Milan. I am in the center of Milan, and can say to you that nobody is on the street. Everywhere, nobody. You can see anybody.
That's a point. An important point.
Yes.
Thanks for sharing it with us. We are again live. It's 3 minutes after 5 o'clock. We have some people already connecting on challenges.reply.com to follow us live. Of course, you can interact with us on the live chat that we have in the player. So please feel free to post your questions, doubts, or whatever. We are reading Telegram channels as well, so you may interact with us on that channel too. We will spend together with you 1 hour pretty much in order to showcase the most important insights and tips and tricks related to the Reply Investment Challenge. Let me remind you that we had more than 8,500 registrations on the platform from so many countries in the world, most of European countries in the world, of people passionate about finance that are playing with us in this special online round started on March the 30th and that will end next Thursday at 10 p.m. in the night. And the best 100 players right after this online round will be invited to participate to the final round program on April the 24th. So do your best in order to perform and to be on the top 100 ranking players in order to be selected as the finalist of this first Reply and Banca Generali Investment Challenge. Let me ask to Davide, maybe the right time to have a short recap about the numbers of these first days. Let me say the first the first week actually, and even more, because we are right now on Tuesday, and so pretty much we are around the 80% of the time right now.
Yes, we
Am
are
I right?
almost in the end of our challenge, and we have some data that are less partial every hour it gets. Well, we said before that we have more than 3,000 active players, and we have more than 130,000 total trades. This means that every player is averaging at least 45 trades per person, which is right above the minimum number required, which was 30. So that's great, because virtually everyone is qualified if it gets into the first 100 for the final round. And when it comes to the hours spent on the platform, we have a huge number. We have 9 million minutes spent on the platform. That means we have more than 150,000 hours on the platform. That's more than 50 hours per person actively playing. And when it comes to our players, they are doing great, especially in the last couple of days, because the percentage of them above the initial million budget is the 62%. They
Wow.
were only 39% 3 days ago when we left, 4 days ago when we left for the last time. And we can say that probably, and our market experts are going to explain it better to us, this is due to the recovery of the stock market, because the data shows us that 56% of our players have stocks as the favorite asset class.
That's a big news, I would say. So to recap, we have pretty much doubled the percentage of players who are right now on active, right?
Yeah, and for the first time from the beginning of the competition, more players, well, we can say much more players than not, are gaining money than losing money, which is not something given for granted in a market so volatile. We were so worried 1 week ago when we started, saying that volatility could be a big issue. Yes, it is, but it also gave some great opportunities to our player, and a big up for everyone, because most of them are doing really, really well in the last couple of days.
You gave me an assist in order to remind to all the players who are following this webinar live, and of course even the webinars are all recorded, so you can get in touch with us even not in live mode. Please, we are, as you know, leveraging on BGSaxo platform, that is a trading demo platform that we are using actually on a simulation purposes. So again, BGSaxo is not a platform designed for the investment challenge at the beginning. We are leveraging on this platform in order to have a fair online game altogether. So please feel free. I mean, I would suggest to point out to challenges@reply.com, drop us an email in order to point out any kind of strange behavior that you may see on the platform. We have news of some kind of products that have a price that was completely anomalous, not normal. If you see something that is not working properly, point it out. Do not leverage even on a short-term advantage, because we will get notice of it. And actually, we were forced to reset your balance at the stage in which you started leveraging on that particular product. So again, if you see something, say something, as they say. Point out any kind of anomalous and not normal behavior that you may get in touch, and of course we'll be here in order to assist you and experience a better gaming all together. We are live on YouTube. Again, I see many people saying hello on the chat. Is there a leaderboard? Is asking our friend Roberto. Yes, is on the platform challenges.reply.com. Refresh the page if you can't see it. I guess that the Reply Challenges team might help by answering you on the live YouTube chat. We'll be together for 1 hour pretty much in order to answer all your questions and give you hopefully some kind of insights related to the game and to the many ways to better perform in this investment challenge. I would like to leverage at the beginning on the presence of Maria Grazia Dossena. I will repeat your punchline: responsible of market strategy at Banca Generali. Welcome again. Might be a good time if you agree to share with our friends some kind of insights about the market situation. We have already said, thanks to Davide, that the situation is evolving. It's volatile, of course, but it's evolving a lot since good results in terms of trading. We have experiences, I mean, at least in the latest 48 hours, some kind of positive results. So which kind of evolution we may expect, we may predict for our players in the next 48 hours, that are probably the most important one in terms of our game?
Yes, it's very difficult to give an ideas on where markets are going and what they will do in a few days. Today is an important day because there are one important meeting, that is the Eurogroup meeting, and after this meeting, at the end, we will see exactly what the Eurogroup will decide about the funds that will be made available to the state in order to cope with the virus, the pandemic, first of all, and secondly, how to cope with the depression or that will come after the lockdown will finish and we will start again to do business and to trade. This is the one is the most important because mainly for the European market and mainly for the European equity market, this could change the sentiment of the market if there will be a good approval by the operator of the market trader. I believe that the market will go up. European markets overall will go up again tomorrow. After in the contrary, we can have starting a reduction and going down.
That's a big point, I would say, quite important in terms of.
I believe for the European market is a turning point.
Yeah, yeah.
The second important meeting is the OPEC Plus that will be today and tomorrow. And this is about the decision about the cutting of oil production. It is important because from this we'll have an idea where the oil price will go in the next days and months, and linked to this oil price also the price of equities in the energy sector.
That's a great point. Thank you for sharing. Of course, we had some questions still appearing on the chat. My question by my side, I'm absolutely not an expert at all. I'm just doing the live streaming, but not trading right now in the game. Is there, in your opinion, I would involve even Matteo Fatale from Starting Finance too. Is there something that let me say, will gain the same amount? I don't know how to say it properly, but actually, we will recover shortly the money that we lose in the recent, I would say, in the couple of weeks before. They say it will be a recap in the shape of a V, exactly a V shape or more kind of U shape. So in a longer period.
For my point of view and the point of view of Banca Generali, we don't think on a V shape in Europe or in Italy. It is in the short time you can have an L shape, so a trading range from this point in the next days and months. After that, we can have a recovery. It depends from more factors. First of all, when lockdown will finish, not only in Italy, but in Europe and in US. US is the most important market where we have to look at. Because, yes, because at the moment is the market where we have a very big in policy decision by the Fed, with a big amount of liquidity put it into the market, and also we had the higher level of economic and fiscal policy about 10% of the GDP of the US state. So this is most important, and looking at this, at the debt market and what it will do. The most problem for the US market are consumer, because the 70% of the US GDP is composed by consumer. If the consumer will slow during this period, they will have a decrease in the GDP only directly for internal customer behavior.
Yeah, we mentioned in the past webinar we had at the end of last week that the unemployment rate in US is increasing so much that, of course, it will be some kind of effect in the consumer market internal.
Yes, and also the data was calculated at the beginning of March.
So even
when
before.
we will see the data at the beginning of April, the unemployment will become higher and higher in the US. People are thinking about 50 million of people that we can lose their job.
Kind of a nightmare, I would say.
Yes.
We have a question related to the game. It's a kind of strategy question, but let me explain it to you. Eugenio on the YouTube live chat is sharing this question. If you were in the top 50 of the challenge, would you still trade a lot in these 2 days remaining? I would like to involve Matteo Fatale too. Stated that we have this kind of outlook that Maria Grazia has kindly shared with us. Is it better to move or not in those next 48 hours, since that stated that you might be in the top 50? So what to do?
It's very hard to give the right answer, because I think that the next 2 days could be very volatile. We can have a market could continue to go up now, like today and yesterday, or maybe we can have also an opposite. They will go in an opposite direction. So it's very difficult to decide. I am prudent. So what I will say is if I have gain, I realize some gain.
Yeah, that's a point. That's a point, of course. As we said in the past webinars, we don't have the crystal ball. We might just trying to guess and give you an hint about it. Matteo, what do you think about it?
Well, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Well, it depends on your position. If you're in the 50 position, I will not be so sure to stop myself. But in this moment of growth, looking at the index, at the main indices, I consider stopping in this moment is not the right decision. I'm sure we can earn without problem in order to keep the position just buying shares and indices.
Okay, so with a lower risk, let me say.
Yeah.
Again, live on YouTube and on challenges.reply.com, we are collecting questions about the Reply Investment Challenge organized together with Banca Generali and MIT Politecnico di Milano. This is the third webinar we have in our program. The latest one, the fourth, will be on Thursday. So pretty much at some hours before the end of the challenge, that again for this online round will end at 10 p.m. in the evening of Thursday, April the 9th. I would leverage again on the presence of Maria Grazia Dossena from Banca Generali, responsible of market strategy. You were mentioning us that you have some kind of insights to be shared in a PowerPoint presentation, right?
Yes, no, I have some data. I try to show you.
Please, yes, feel free. Don't worry. Even if we have some technical adjustment, is not that the problem. We can see your screen shared.
Well, okay.
Yes, working perfectly.
The first things that I have here are data that will be released this week. Are the first one. I don't think there could, the most important is the 9th of April. It is the consumer confidence, because as I said before, the US GDP is based on the consumer, and if the consumer confidence will decrease, we can have problem in the development of the activity in US markets. So this is the most important data that you have to look at. I don't think that at the moment markets are strictly related to the data that are published, macroeconomic data, but mainly to the sentiment and the evolution of the pandemic in Europe and in the US. In the second chart, I have the performance of equity markets year to date and for the last week. The last week was negative. But as I said before, we are in a volatile market, and we can have different view and position of the market during the same week, because it depends on the data of the pandemic and the new event, like are most important, like the Eurogroup and the meeting of the OPEC this week. As you can see, we have small differences between the markets in terms of countries, because when the sentiment is down, we have a decrease in quite all markets. And this is happened also in sectors. This morning, when I had a call with all the financial planner of Banca Generali, I also discussed about the sectors of the of the stocks 600 and the S&P 500. What we said last week, it was even if we have a negative performance for the index, the only one sector that had a positive performance was the energy sector, because of the evolution and increase of the strong increase of the price of oil. But after that, we have all other sectors where had a negative performance. Two sectors I have to mention. One was the bank sector and the insurance sector for the Europe countries, because the main regulator are asking to all companies to suspend and not to pay dividend for this year. And this could improve the capability of their capital to cope with the situation, and should make banks available and able to lend money to borrower who needs a lot of liquidity at the moment. But at the same time, for the investor, this could be a reduction of the income that was in the past foreseen. The other sector I have to mention is the sector of healthcare. Is a resilient sector, and is the sector that must have a large benefit by the evolution of the pandemic. And this is a sector who make a very good results, even if the year-to-date performance is negative also for this sector. This is quite similar, the situation in Europe and in the US. In the US, we have also the stop of the buyback by a lot of companies have focus their money to buy back their own equities. This type of activity was stopped, and this can create, and for these equities, we have a negative performance. Another, if we have to focus to the bond markets,
yes, please.
Last week we see a flight to quality flows, US Treasury and to US dollar. So the US Treasury, the rate decreased and the price of US Treasury increased. The performance was positive. And all the US and the US dollar became stronger again. Euro and all developed and emerging countries. What I think for the global environment, I think the most problem is not linked to equity, but in the future, the most problem we should have from debt. Debt from the government, debt from the corporates. And this is why we ask to everybody to pay a very strong attention to issuer that has a very low rating. They could have a very strong problem with downgrades by the rating agencies and also problem of defaults. Moody's has increasing the estimate of defaults in the world, all over the world, for the high yield environment from 2 to quite 20% in the
wow.
2020.
That's a big point, I would say.
Yes, and this is the most important point of this situation. Another thing, but it is not, I'm sorry, but it's not linked to the next day. It's something that could have, this could be important in the end of the year maybe, is that at the moment, inflation is decreasing, okay? But if there will be the recovery, there was, we hope, maybe not in a V shape, but in a U shape, all this liquidity in the market and all this fiscal decision can increase in the long run prices, consumer prices, and the inflation could increase maybe starting from 2021.
Thank you very much, Maria Grazia, for your insights and analysis. Assuming you have finished with the slides.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I have. I would like to involve, of course, Eleonora, Matteo, and Davide in the analysis. In the meanwhile, we are collecting some more questions on YouTube live chat. Please, guys, you first. Do you have any question or comment related to Maria Grazia analysis?
Yes, Maria Grazia, I had a question, especially for what concerned the American market. And they are putting a lot of liquidity into the market, as you said, but if the trust of consumers is not enough and is not recovering due to the fear of a pandemic and so on, this cannot be more harmful than good?
No, it's good because at the moment there is problem for the liquidity at the company levels. Because of the shutdown, maybe company, they don't receive receivable. They are not paid for money they have produced, but they need to pay. And so it's important to provide liquidity the most important things to do, and what we have experienced from the last financial crisis, and the first step is to give money to the market. And then Fed is what is doing at the moment, and also ECB.
So we should follow their example for the ECB and so on, even at the European level.
The same things, also at the European level, it was important that ECB increased the quantitative easing and also reduced the limits to buy some percentage of national debt. This is very important because in this way they have put money and there are large money available on the market at the moment. Otherwise, you haven't seen this recovery at the in the equity markets if Fed and ECB will not intervene in the market.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to involve Matteo, if you can hear us in the discussion. Matteo?
Okay. Here I am.
Yes, we can hear you. The quality is not super, but I guess we can understand. Do you have any comments to share regarding Maria Grazia analysis?
No, in this moment, no. I really appreciate this show, but I'm waiting the next macro data in order to analyze them. So I'm just in a waiting position.
Okay. We may proceed. I'm just checking if we have questions that might be addressed to you. So far, we have some questions related to the game. So I will let the Reply Challenges team to answer them in the chat. Please, guys, if you are looking, if you're watching us live on challenges.reply.com, share your questions to Maria Grazia, of course, and Matteo, and the experts here connected, because you have this unique chance to get in touch with them live and get some possible insights related to your strategy in the investment challenge in general. In the meanwhile, Maria Grazia was sharing his insight. I was thinking about in my mind, what a point that we have organized. Of course, we were never thinking about a kind of pandemic emergencies like the one we are living in, and we might be crazy in that way. But in general, I was thinking about what a unique point of view that we have right now in terms of it's a game. So we are just playing with pretending money and nothing else. But in general, it's such a particular situation in which we are asking you, thousands of players playing with us, to find out a kind of strategy. It's a kind of role-playing game because, again, you are playing with fake money. But I cannot imagine any kind of similar situation in which you can have this kind of role-playing game. We will never, in any kind of fantasy, we will never be able to write something like this, I would say.
Yes, I agree entirely with you.
I think that for students playing, this is incredibly educational, because if you think an average week during the year, maybe you have, 2 or 3 important macroeconomic data if you are lucky, but not so much volatility and not so many important geopolitical things happening. And in this sense, we can say, lucky that it happened during this period, because it gave a really wide range of possibilities for investing and trading to our participants. And I think it's good. It's more difficult because you have to be prepared for the unpreparable. But if you are already familiar with the instrument, or you have studied a little bit, you can experience this in a safe environment, a really complex situation. I think that in these days, for real stock operators and so on, the situation is much less relaxed, we can say, than for players. So again, you are lucky to experience that in a safe way, because at least it's not real money you are losing. It's not yours, and they're not real. So it's great.
That's good. I would say it's not yours and not real in general. Anyhow, thanks for mentioning again that we are somehow. We are more than proud of offering this kind of learning activities. That is a great way in order to experience and to test your knowledge as a student, but in general, even just as a passionate in finance. Davide, would you like to remind everybody the learning platform, the learning contents that are available on challenges.reply.com? I would say that it's wise to repeat it.
Yes, we can say that at the end of the competition, among these 3,000 active players, we'll have 100 going to the final round and 5 winners, but everyone can gain something, and it's available for everyone competing, is the learning materials. We have a lot of learning materials, and when we organize them, we kept in mind to have them accessible at every level. So if it's the first time for you that you are competing, maybe you only entered this competition some days ago, you're not doing well, you can find the basics and improve your game. If you are already someone that is really passionate, really expert, maybe you've studied also, that you can still find some learning that is up to your level. And most importantly, we have some content that we can say are beyond learning, because we don't believe that learning is something you do and then stop, but something that you experience, you embrace. So we have some content that are not traditional learning. They could be movies, documentaries, and articles. And if you get there and discover that you can experience this learning not in a passive but in an active way. So this, as a fellow student myself, is the best thing you can get from this competition, except from winning, of course.
Yes, thank you for reminding these in the perspective of anybody participating with us in this Reply Investment Challenge together with Banca Generali. It's 35 minutes after 5 p.m. We have still kind of 20 minutes in order to collect questions and to answer you live in order to better shape your strategy for those last 48 hours of gaming together. I would involve again Matteo, if you agree, in order to give us the usual, let me say, analysis of the different index thanks to BG Saxo platform. So Matteo, mic to you.
Do you hear me correctly?
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
Do you hear me?
If you speak louder,
yes,
yeah.
We can hear you, not super well. If you stay, yeah, if you try to speak a bit louder, you can share your screen and start commenting together with us the different indexes.
Okay, guys, starting with the indices. Here we have the S&P 500. In these last 2 days, we have a great increase of more than 10%, breaking this important zone of resistance. Due to the optimistic tweet by Donald Trump, as always, and personally talking, I consider this rising zone will continue for the next weeks. Then, moving to the commodities, starting from the oil, we have a continue here of the increasing phase. If you remember, due to the Trump's tweets of agree of cutting the oil production between Saudi Arabia, USA, and Russia. So the oil price is going up. Now it's stopped here at a zone between $33 and $35, and this is driving also the gold. In this moment, is breaking this resistance zone, but there is an important retest. This retest will say if there is now a continue in the rising phase, or we have just a bounce here.
So it has recovered as a.
So now there is uncertainty, there is a great volatility. So there is an opportunity of gain depending on the next movements. Then looking at the currencies, looking for example at euro dollar, what we have here, we are on the roller coaster. And in this moment we have a great volatility, but we have here a bounce on this support zone. So here today we have a great gain, and even here we have a possibility of gain given the next movements. So keep in mind this exchange rate. Then, sorry, we have euro pound. That is the same. After a great moment of volatility, now we have a reducing. We have a lateral phase. Then we are waiting. For example, now the previous zone of resistance now is a zone of support. So the analysis can say me that here we have a bounce, a rising bounce. Well, that's all. If you have any question.
Thank you, Matteo. Yes, Davide, please.
I have a question for you, and we are coming again to the price of oil that we talked last week. And okay, there was a little bounce back after the Trump tweet and the OPEC announcement and so on. Do you think these announcements are enough for a recovery of the price? Or the demand for oil, for crude oil, is shrinking so much that it won't be sustainable to return to prices of 1 month or two ago in a short period of time?
Well, I consider this little recovery not enough because the oil price is at this moment too low. It depends on the confirm of that tweets. So we are waiting also this. We are waiting for a confirmation. We are waiting for other movements, other purchases or not.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Matteo, for your analysis. I would say complementary with the things mentioned by Maria Grazia. We are collecting questions. We have one related, I would say, to the game again. That is, the final will on April 24th will last just one day and will be structured similarly to this online stage. I would say so, yes. It will take just one day, even less than one day, of course, because we will start early in the morning around 9 o'clock, if I'm right, and we'll end in the afternoon around 5:30, if I'm right. Again, I don't want to say something that is not super right, but anyhow, I would like to involve Eleonora, if you can hear us. Eleonora, can you hear us? Maybe yes, but you're on mute right now, so we can hear you, actually.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Okay, now we can hear you loud and clear. Would you like to, even without spoiler of any kind, would you like to say something about the final round, which our players are preparing to?
Yeah, I can simply say that, of course, it will be very similar to the online round, only will be more concentrated. I mean, you will have a quite high amount of inputs in a short time. I mean, we will start, I think, at 9:30. We stop like at 5, but yeah, the kind of inputs will be similar and only more concentrated, and there will be as well glitch. And of course, these days are these online challenges days are aimed to, of course, learn and prepare to the finals. So the inputs, as I already said, will be similar, not the same, but on the same page, on the same line.
I would so stress the point that is that specifically for the top 100 players that will access the final round, to play following the inputs will be very important in order to be on the first on the podium, because you will have to produce the write-ups document that will be the proof of your strategy. So even if you will have a kind of great results by not following the inputs, there will be some issue there, because you will have to prove which strategy you have shaped in order to get those results, right?
Yeah, exactly. This is a very important point, because as we already said, we are not focused on monitoring if you have followed the input or not. We are not here to control every movement you do in the platform. This is only to in some kind of train, and to follow inputs is important, because at the end, if you are in the top 3, you have to produce this report, and we check that you have followed the inputs only there.
Yeah, and of course, if the top 3 in the podium will not produce promising and convincing documents, we will go down in the ranking. So you might be even the 4th, the 5th, the 10th, or whatever, yeah. And you still have to prove your strategy. That's the point around that. Any kind of aspect, I mean, most of all have been already discussed, and actually the most frequent asked questions are available on challenges.reply.com platform. So if you have some kind of question related to the game, please get a look at the FAQ section in order to possibly find your answer there, and that might be helpful, of course, for you. If anything is still missing, or you still have a doubt about that, you can get in touch with the Reply Challenges team by sending an email to challenges@reply.com. You find us on Telegram too. So I kindly ask again to the Reply Challenges team to link the Telegram channels on the YouTube chat in order to get in touch with all the players. We are present, of course, on Instagram and Facebook and so on. So many ways to get in touch with us if you have doubts. I would leverage again on the presence of Maria Grazia, Matteo, and all of you in this live streaming. We are live again, 50 minutes to 6 o'clock Central European time, and then we'll end our live streaming today. My question, just again as a kind of guess, if you have a magic wand, if you can express a kind of desire, I don't know, which kind of economic measure, economic operation would be the most important in your perspective, the single most important in order to guarantee a speedy recovery, at least for the Eurozone, of if we want to extend it worldwide or for the markets we are considering, which kind of action you are wondering to see in the short term? I would ask ladies first. So Maria Grazia first, I would say.
I believe that, as I said before, the action of central banks were essential, but now we need economic and policy action. Only if a lot of money will be put in the money of the governments, and they can spend this money in helping first the companies that have to recover from the present situation, and secondly also to define new infrastructure, because as you, like an example, in Italy, we entered in the pandemic situation starting from a very a situation of stationarity, because we are close to zero. The increase of GDP was close to zero. We have a technical recession, so we didn't have a speed in our economy. This is now we have, if Eurogroup can allow us the opportunity to spend money, to make investment in infrastructure, in everything is needed for this country and all over the world to give a new speed to the economic growth. Otherwise, it could be a very difficult way to recover.
That's the point. So actually tonight we'll have some possibly some news, good or bad, related to the Eurogroup Council.
Good.
Yes,
I believe that there should be a compromise, and usually
as always
don't like compromise.
That's the point. That's the point. Market doesn't like, but politics is made of them. So that might be a kind of trade-off. Anyhow, we'll follow. First of all, as human beings and citizens, the situation, but then specifically for this perspective, the Reply Investment Challenge realized together with Banca Generali, it's an opportunity even to learn something about the worldwide situation in this kind of particular emergency we are living in. Matteo, same question, your answer if you want.
Well, I have two answers. First of all, it's important the liquidity support clear in order to keep the firms in the condition of production. And then we have the second most important thing is to keep the rates low, because we cannot support another debt crisis. And given that the macro data are going to be released in the next weeks, I don't know how the market will react to that.
So
okay.
The suggestion from our expert is to close all your position this evening.
That might be a wise suggestion, actually. If we may measure on the last webinar we'll have together on Thursday, if the tonight's news might change something, or of course even the following events that Maria Grazia has presented us. Eleonora, do you want to play with us in this silly game? The single action that we may expect as something that makes the difference for the economics point of view.
I am completely sharing the point of view of Maria Grazia and Matteo, and I think that is not maybe not only a financial view, but I think that it's very important that the government, not only the Italian one, decide with there is clarity, because even in the message, it's important that once we in some way we can even if we in some way we will find as I would like to say money, but it's important to understand and to be clear to which company, to what kind of rate, and what are the constraints that this money will be available or not. And it's not only the matter of finding liquidity, but to manage liquidity. And I hope that even in the future, there will be like a better management of the Italian government and European governments. But I'm more concentrated on the Italian one.
I would say, yeah, of course. You touch a very important point. We are great, of course, in asking that we may be not so great in managing, but that's a point that might be not the unique one. Anyhow, that's part of the game as well, because we are asking to the players to manage their own portfolio, even of, again, pretending money and not real ones. We are, again, live for the last minutes of this live streaming webinar. Collecting questions on the YouTube chat. Most of them are actually related to the game mechanism, and so we are leveraging on the answers made by the Reply Challenges team. I would say that the discussion held today to highlight some kind of suggestion and hints to our players have been already done. I would like to involve again. Yeah, sorry, I have to confirm you that they give me the, once we mention April 24th time schedule, they confirm me that the live streaming will start at 9 o'clock and ends at 6 p.m. So 9 a.m. the starting and 6 p.m. the end of it. We'll have some kind of very important guest in our live streaming. I will not spoil, but keep in touch, because the live streaming for the final round on April 24 will be, I would say, promising. What to add? We are expecting Maria Grazia, another guest from Banca Generali. Do we have to wait somehow? I know it's live, but you know the answer.
Sorry? I don't know. I don't know exactly who will be the guest.
Okay. That's the point. For even for today, we're not expecting any other guests from Banca Generali, right?
No, for today, no.
Okay, not for today. Okay, our time is pretty much at its hand. Davide, do we have to your point of view, to stress again some kind of frequently asked question that we are receiving on Telegram or on other challenges from the past?
In a very telegraphic way, and we have some recurring question about not executing order, and the reasons are multiple and are simply, maybe you are trading on a market that is now closed, maybe the demo platform does not support that option, in this case options, okay, or you don't have sufficient liquidity. And the last thing, someone is still complaining about prices and okay, I'm buying a share or stock now at a certain prices, and it gets bought at another one. Well, there is, as we said, a 20 minutes delay with stocks in the platform. So you see the prices of 20 minutes ago, but when you buy or sell, the platform applies the instant price. So these little discrepancies are possible, and keep them in mind. This is why maybe stocks are even more, we can say, not dangerous, but risky on the platform than other assets classes, because they have this tricky feature of the 20 minutes. So keep them in mind, please, for the last 2 days before losing your hard-earned money.
That gives us the chance to repeat it again, that the kind of scalping activity that some players have pointed out is actually impossible, right? Or I mean, it's not the
Well, in theory, it is possible, but it's like trying to do a magic trick with your hands tied up behind your back. So it's not gonna work. You can do it, but we don't suggest it because it's even more difficult than in real life. And in real life, it's really difficult. So don't try this at home, we can say.
Especially this time, since we are playing at home for sure, because we are stuck there. Okay, so I would like to thank you, of course, for your presence here in this live webinar. I hope we give a service to all the players who get in touch with us, because we highlighted some kind of market news and trends that are important for the last 48 hours of gaming. We usually end this live streaming with an humble suggestion to our players. So why not to do it again for this for the end of this live streaming? I would start with Matteo Fatale, Starting Finance Community. Your humble suggestion to the players watching us.
Well, especially in this moment, I have just to say, wait until this evening, wait until tomorrow morning, and look at the movements of gold. And buy indices. Go long for the indices.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. I guess they have your at least own receipt, and they may leverage on it in order to perform at their best and qualify themselves as one of the top 100 players that will access the final round. I would propose the same question to Eleonora. Do you have any suggestion for these last 48 hours of gaming?
Not really as a guest, but connected to the a previous explanation, Maria Grazia mentioned the healthcare sector, and that is a sector that is anti-cyclical, and we are in this phase, like particular phase, so it might be a sector that is not so really like considered because it's anti-cyclical, but we can leverage on this sector in since we are in this like particular situation.
Okay. Thank you for pointing this out, and thank you for your presence here, Eleonora and Matteo. Of course, we'll get in touch again in our latest live streaming. I will propose the same question to Davide, and we'll hand the loop with Maria Grazia.
Well, my answer maybe is more simple. Is as Matteo said, if you are waiting and if you have to wait or you don't know what to do, go in the learning section, because there you're not gonna miss something.
Yeah, that's a good point. Even to maximize the effort, and we would like to thank all the.
We are sure you're gonna gain something there.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And again, thank you to all the people from Reply, MIP, Politecnico di Milano, and Banca Generali to the big effort in order to realize the learning contents that we are offering you for free, I would say, on challenges.reply.com. Final words for Maria Grazia Dossena, again, responsible of market strategy at Banca Generali and our kind guest today. Thank you very much for being here today with us. Your humble suggestion for the players targeting the latest 48 hours of game.
I don't give you an advice or a way to play, but I give you, I say to you that before to play, please think and then act, and also do the best job.
That's a very great suggestion, I would say, for the investment perspective, investment challenge perspective, and for life in general. So thank you very much, you all, for participating together with us. We'll keep in touch with all the players, of course, answering even on remote to the questions upcoming. And we'll meet again for the latest of our live streaming on Thursday, April the 9th. As always, 5 p.m. Central European Solar Time, 1 hour of live streaming with our guests in order to give you the best service and some hints to perform in this Reply and Banca Generali Investment Challenge. Thank you all, guys, for participating together with us. Stay safe and strong, and we'll keep in touch for the future. Thank you all, guys. See you next. Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Ciao.